The Lions are looking to go 2-0 against teams in Ohio as they dominated the Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to, you can guess my prediction on who I think is going to win this game as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals, who put up less total yards of offense against the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football than the Broncos did rushing the ball. It's going to be a long season, I think, for Cincinnati Bengals now with Joe Burrow. I think there's some hope with Jake Browning being in, but I think a lot of that hope is gone after tonight. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down this Week 5 matchup between the Lions and Bengals. Leave a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win this game and why you think the Lions are going to put up 45 against this Bengals defense. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button if you want to support the channel. We're trying to get to 8,000 subscribers by the end of October, and any help is greatly appreciated. And Ryan, a little bit longer intro of mine. I kind of did a little bit my normal preamble in the intro there, but yeah, like Lions absolutely dominated. Lions might have really started to end Joe Flacco's career. It's already pretty much ended, but now they're going to be. We might be seeing some more Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders.
Yeah.
Partly due to Joe Flacco's play, but I think also just a dominant performance by the Lions in general, defensively and offensively. But in general, though, but now I think after watching the Bengals play tonight, and now, of course, to be fair to the Bengals, Denver Broncos have arguably the best defense in the league. But the Lions also have really good defense as well. We're going to have to monitor a couple injuries for the Lions as Terran Arnold left the game with a shoulder injury. DJ Reed left the game with a hamstring injury as well. And so typically with hamstring injuries, it's kind of, to me, I almost kind of look at it like concussions now. You're at least out for the next week. But hamstrings, I think, can be much longer as well, too.
Yeah.
At least normally a couple weeks to get that stuff healed up because hamstrings are no joke. But even with that being said, it's Bengals just look rough. I think they're going to have a tough time this year. They're going to have a tough time getting some more wins until Joe Burrow comes back. And it might get to the point, though, where Joe Burrow, like the season's done. It might be like, hey, Joe, just rest up. Like
Yeah.
we don't even want to risk you getting hurt going into the season because I look at the Bengals' upcoming schedule here. It's going to be tough. We'll break that down a little bit more. But Ryan, what do you think of this Lions team, especially too after a tough Week 1 loss at Green Bay? Some pretty dominant wins, I would say,
Yeah.
since then. Even I know the Ravens game was 38-30, but they were kind of able to do whatever they wanted.
It was
Offensively.
38-24, I believe, at one point. And then like the Ravens scored to make it 38-20, went for 2, didn't get it. So like even then it was kind of a backdoor like close game. I especially in the second half, I never felt like the Lions were out of control of that game. The only time this season I've really been concerned about the Lions was after that Week 1 performance, simply because not because they didn't have a lot of talent, but you just look at the coaching losses that they had. How are they going to handle that transition from 2 established coordinators, plus some of the assistants that they had in place, to totally new support staff under Dan Campbell? And so I really think that they've done a good job bouncing back from that tough Week 1 loss and have looked really good in the last 3 weeks. They are currently on the defensive side of the ball, 12th in total yards allowed, 13th in passing yards, and 7th in rushing yards. They're second in sacks, actually tied with Denver right now, right behind Denver, who is first in sacks right now with 15, and then they're 7th in overall takeaways. And on the offensive side of the ball, the Lions are 6th in total offensive yards, and that's after a rough Week 1 where they gave up over 350 yards to the Packers. Sorry, actually, I guess it was only 266, but they had a much worse offensive performance with only 246 yards as well. And they're still that high in all of those rankings after.
After they play the Bengals this week, they're going to be a top 5 defense statistically. Like I just don't. I mean, this Bengals performance now, as I mentioned, is Broncos defense, but just offensively, they just like struggled to move the ball just in general. 14 for 25 for 125 yards from Jake Browning. A lot of clear frustration as well too from Jamar Chase on the sideline. A lot of highlights going on of him yelling at the coaching staff. But I almost kind of feel bad a little bit for him, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, outside of the fact that they're all millionaires. But from a player standpoint as well, it's just you come in with all these expectations. Also, too, you come in knowing, and then here's the other reason too why we're all going to pick Detroit for this game. His defense, sucks. Oh my
Yeah.
god! Like, it's just they like. I thought last year's defense was bad. This year's might be worse. Now they are dealing like they had some secondary guys go down earlier on in the season, which just didn't help their cause in general. But it's just it's just a lot. Like you lose Joe Burrow, who was giving you guys some semblance of hope as well, just because like now this offense can kind of go do what Dallas is going to have to do this year and go put up 40 every single game. And now it's just kind of really what's the point? You know, because defensively they just really struggle to stop anything. And I think in this game here, I think if you're the Lions, be like, how can we just get through this game without any major injuries? Because that's the only real thing stopping this Lions team from losing this game is just devastating injuries. And with that even being said, I still think that they might win this game. But it's going to
Yeah.
be how do we not ruin our season here? Because for the Lions as well, and you obviously can't have that stuff like you know when that stuff's going to happen. But they have a couple of really big games coming up Sunday night in Week 6 against Kansas City Chiefs, and they host the Buccaneers, and that's a big game as well. And it looks like that's on Monday night as well. So then they have a bye. Then they play the Vikings. That's a big division game. Then at the Commanders, at the Eagles. So that's a pretty good tough stretch of games coming up here as well. Have to kind of see how the Vikings are doing, like once JJ McCarthy comes back. But luckily, that game's going to at least be at home for Detroit. But like get through this game here, kind of almost. I don't want to say like take it as like a mini bye because you still got to play the game, but go through, nobody get hurt because it seems like every week someone with Detroit just getting hurt, and you're just like, gosh, this team could be so
Hopefully,
freaking good if they could stay healthy.
even if they go through like an injury spell where like maybe some guys pull a hammy or like get a high ankle sprain, last year it felt like Alex Anzalone like broke his arm, and then the Aiden Hutchinson injuries, guys were tearing ACLs. Carlton Davis broke his jaw on a freak play. Like guys
Yeah.
were getting major injuries, taking them out for the whole season. Where like if you look in the past, like teams like San Francisco, they'll go through injury spells where they'll have like 4 or 5 starters out with injuries, but they're not major, and they're able to come back for that postseason push. Whereas like last year, they were just so decimated with injuries.
Well, yeah. Even too, just like I'm sure someone can give an example, but I'm trying to remember like when I've seen a broken jaw in a football game before. Like because like
Yeah,
they
it
have
was
so
that was
much
a
pad
freak.
like that. That's just what was so like freaky about all the injuries that they were getting. It was just like just really unlucky. And so now this is what we're talking about though. But DJ Reed goes down with a hamstring injury as well. You know, Terran Arnold, like he hurt his shoulder. Hopefully, maybe the shoulder something that can come back, but just get as healthy as you possibly can. You know, before you're going to go on this tough stretch of games, because there's no reason why they should lose this game to Cincinnati
Yeah,
at all. Like it's even if Cincinnati's offense figures some stuff out and they can maybe move the ball a little bit against this Detroit Lions defense, which we have seen be susceptible at times to give up some yards because they can also be aggressive as well. There's no way this Bengals defense is going to stop Jared Goff and Sonic and Knuckles and everything going on with Monroe St. Brown, and then you got James Williams, you got Sam Laporta, Isaac Tasala. Like, there's just no way that this Bengals defense is going to stop this team from. I don't know. It's like they're for sure gonna get 30. I'm trying to think if the Lions are going to get 40. I can see them getting 6 touchdowns pretty easily against this Bengals team.
so I was actually going to say something. This might be the largest margin of victory game of the year. I really could see like a 56-6 type of game, because if the Lions put pedal to the metal and Cincinnati comes out and they play like they did tonight against Denver, man, that's going to be an ultimate beatdown, because this defense is just as good as Denver's. This offense is twice as good as Denver's.
I wouldn't say just as good as Denver's defense. Now, I was this Lions offense. I think is better.
Statistically, yes.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's very similar. And uh, this Lions offense is leaps and bounds better. Um, and so I think this could be a big time beating here for the Cincinnati Bengals. So to get into predictions, I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, I you got some cojones if you're going to pick the Bengals here and
Yeah.
pick them. Like I'm trying to even think of what the spread's going to be. Even I mean the spread's probably like 14 and a half. as of right now.
I'm taking the points.
Well, I don't know if I take the point. It depends on what the points are. Let me see here. So they've got this. We're recording this. This is Monday night as well, and they don't even have the points up yet. But I'm probably going to think now. This is in Cincinnati,
Yeah,
but I still think it's probably 14.5 points.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think you see anything much larger. Maybe 17.5. But you also they usually give 3 points for being at home. I don't know if that's a factor here because I don't know how many Bengals fans are going to show up.
No, they'll still be there.
Maybe
they'll still be there, but it's going to be. This is, to be fair to Jake Browning, and then this is the first home game back since the Joe Burrow injury. So there'll still be people there, and there could be some crowd influence, but in general, though, it's Bengals. Trey Hendrickson is going to have a game. They're going to have to get Jared Goff off balance. But once again, though, too, it's just going to be how do you stop? Then all right, fine. We're just going to run the ball, and with Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, they're just going to be able to run all over this defense. Going to open things up. That just where even that this is at home, it's not like this is a college atmosphere, an inexperienced college team. These guys are professionals. Like the Lions are going to go in here and win this game. This frankly, this video is too long for I think what the score of this game is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, let's go ahead. Let's wrap it up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on how badly you think the Lions are going to beat the Bengals. And other than that, we'll see you guys next time.